screen here when you're coming into lessons. But what we need to do is go to our email. So the easiest way for students to go to their email is to come up into the address bar here, and if they know it, if they've been to it before, they will start typing MIS, and this will bring up their email. So mis.eq.edu.au. And we head into there. And we wait. This is called a waffle. So the 9 squares in the top left-hand corner is called the waffle. Most of the time, the students just know it as the 9 squares. So if we click here, there are 2 things in here that the students can access that are important. Obviously, email is one, but the OneDrive and the OneNote links are most important. I'm going to talk about OneDrive first, even though this is not something I'm using much with my students in English. In here, the students click on that OneDrive and then go to Shared. So once they're in Shared, they will see that they have things shared with them. So they need to be in the Shared with Me section. And they can have anything in here. They might have a folder saying Year 7. They might have a folder saying English. There's one saying English work from me, I believe. And you can see that all of their work is tracked here. So most of the work is up in what they call the cloud. So it's just an off-site data system for storage, and they can work in their document in OneDrive here, and the teacher can see it back in real time as well. So there's no saving and resending work over in an email. It all automatically saves to this cloud. You don't have to press any buttons, and then the teacher can come in on their side and they can find their work basically. So this is one way that a student can also access their OneNote. So this is a notebook. An easier way, however, to access the notebook is to come back up to the waffle or the 9 squares and click on OneNote. So once they're here, they'll be looking at their English. This is the current one we're working in. So you can see we started back in Unit 2, and then we've done a Unit 3 as well. Of course, Unit 4. So we're going to click on that one. And it will open like this. So no matter if a student is on a Mac computer or a Windows computer, they will all view the same thing at this point. Now, a little tip for home tutors is teachers can also view who is here in the notebook. So we can see who's logged in and working at that time. One thing in here, these up the top, these tabs at the top section of the left are what I call my work. So the students usually know that that's my planning, and that's what I tell them. And they come in here just to view items. If they want to see their own work where they can type, they need to come down here to their name. Now, mine is set up to view all students because I am the teacher. They will only have their name there. So they would click on their name, and then they will view these items that are necessary for them, and they can type in those sections. Now, the next thing that's very important that we're getting all of the students to do is to actually open in OneNote. Now, if you are stuck on getting it to open in OneNote on the desktop, so if you've heard of students say they need to open in OneNote desktop, make sure they are clicked on their name. All right, they have to be in their name section. We'll just click on the welcome and then click open in OneNote. Now, Emma Green, another teacher, and myself have gone through most of the students, and we've managed to tick off that you all have your OneNote desktop or OneNote 2016 running on your computers. So if you don't have it, could you please let me know and I can do a one-on-one session with you. I know that a few students, especially ones that are in here right now, have Mac computers. So at this point, things look a little different. So if you're running a Mac, you will be just opening it in the OneNote app. Similar but different, okay? I'm just going to take you here. So this is where you would come in at the student level. And these are all of the things that are related to the student, their own work. Now, this student's actually a traveling student. I've set them up just to store my planning in. So you can see here that they have all of their work down the right-hand side of the screen, and you basically just click and type. We have our assessments loaded in here as well. We're currently doing an exam at the moment, so you won't see that one loaded in until the student is working on their exam. If a student is looking for my original work, use this arrow. This little arrow here takes them up a level. If you can imagine that this is exactly like a notebook with tabs on the side, this is what it is and that's how it works. So this is my planning. Now, many students are looking for the book to read. So our current novel, Black Snake, is all loaded in here under book for reading. If a student is having trouble viewing it, just have a play with the view, so the zoom of the document. So mine's sitting at 70%. You can also have all of the sound recordings in here. A student needs to click all of these so I can give them permission. It says permission to alter the file. I know that they can't alter it, but still get them to click through all of those, and I will give them permission to listen to it when they're off air. So all of the work again is here. Things that they don't need copies of, multiple copies of, you can find on this level. To go back down to their own level, if they have a smaller screen, so a maybe 13, 15-inch laptop screen, you'll see a little arrow here. Mine's over here. And what you do is you click it and you click on your name. All right? So this is basically OneNote, and everything is stored in here for all of the English lessons. If you are away, you can also find the lesson PowerPoint to view in here for catch-up. Now, I understand that Digital Technologies is also using a OneNote. So if you're flicking between two OneNotes, your student needs to click this arrow next to the name of the notebook. Once they click that, they can flick between the notebooks that they have open. So there eventually will be a big long list here for every notebook that they are enrolled in, and that's how they can switch between the two, is by clicking there. I guess if a student has a Mac, they can't actually view something. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to go into, I'm just going to look here. If a student has a witch's hat on the page, this is for a sound recording. So you can click and you can play. If you are using a Mac now, I know that the Mac users in the room at the moment I've already set up, but if you're using a Mac, you need to download a smart converter just so that you can play the files, with these being Windows Media files. So the Mac users in here are fine. If anyone listening to this recording needs help downloading the smart converter, can you please contact me? So little extra help and all things like that are located in the sound files for the student. Some students will receive them over others depending on how they're going with their work, or like our exam today, every student had sound recordings next to the questions so that it could help them listen and hopefully do better in their exam. I'm going to ask home tutors now if you have any questions that I could possibly show you on the screen, or if you're happy, smiley face, or let me know how you're going. Thank you. again, if you don't feel comfortable chatting here, we can hang back afterwards and we can have a one-on-one talk if you like. So just a quick recap, come in through your emails. Students come in through their emails, go to the waffle, the 9 squares. You're either looking at OneDrive in here or OneNote. And once you're in OneNote for English, you can click on your name and go open in OneNote. Now, just before we depart, I'd like to show you another little tool that's in here that will be very helpful for some of our students. This is called Learning Tools. This might not be on your computer, and it may be something that you would like to download as an add-in. So the Learning Tools actually has an immersive reader. Now, an immersive reader sets the program up to read the text back to you. So for any students that we might have with dyslexia or any other things that they would like to listen, or reasons why they'd like to listen to something, perhaps the words are too confusing to them, please use this immersive reader. It's really, really good. It's also really good for a student when they write their own work to help with the drafting stage. They can listen to it back at them, and if it doesn't make sense, then they change it. So have a thought about downloading the Learning Tools add-in. Another one is also the Dictate. So obviously this is talking into the mic, it types out for you. So God forbid we have anyone who breaks an arm, but they can do all their lessons still with the dictation tool. They also might find this is easier, it might stop writer's block or anything like that. They can get their work down on the page, then they can come back and edit. So there's nothing saying that you have to do your work by typing on the keyboard. You may like to speak into the microphone. So these are two very fantastic tools that I really think would benefit students. Some students did download them at the end of last term, so they may already have them on there. If not, it's a simple Google search. Just type OneNote Learning Tools into the computer and you will get a free download for that one. Okay. One thing that's very important as well is please make sure, if you can, that you have the OneNote 2016. If you're running a Windows computer, it's just a lot smoother than any of the other ones that are out there. It's the current version. So consider downloading OneNote 2016 as well.